Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new webinar hosted by Humana Network. Today, we are diving into a topic that is essential for every independent woman, financial education. If you are new here, this is your time to join us. At Humana, we are a global network of women entrepreneurs who are building a better world through our businesses. Here, you can access valuable resources for your business, sell your products and services, and connect with amazing women from all over the world. One of our core values is amplify the voices of incredible women who have something meaningful to share. And today, we have the absolute pleasure of welcoming Lama, joining us from Lebanon and currently living in Dubai. She will be guiding us through how to manage our finances and build a healthier relationship with money so we can reach our financial goals with clarity and confidence. Hi, Lama. Welcome to Humana. And we are so happy to be you here.
Thank you so much, Florencia. And also, it's my pleasure to be here and give value for women, and especially for you. I met you in Dubai and we had great connection. And I see how much you like to help women and empower them. And today I wanted to give some value from what I do also as a co-founder of Alpha Women. We help women learn about financial and investment education. And this is why I want to share this with you, because I believe this is something very important for all the ladies from different countries and different backgrounds, because financial education is very essential. And today I will start like sharing and explaining why financial education is important. And I would love also from people to be sharing their thoughts through texting if you feel like you want to share in the chat. And I want to ask you if you have any idea about financial education, because mainly people when they hear about finance, they feel it's something complicated. They feel it's something that is not for them. But I am here to tell you that it's totally the opposite. Because if we don't know our financial situation, if we don't know our finances, we will be like, I don't want to say losing money only, but also we will be losing opportunities to create more money. So that's why it's very important to understand first in the beginning what is financial education. So when I say financial education, I'm talking about our personal finances. So my personal finances are my income, my expenses, my savings, and it is very important to understand how we need to read our personal finances, because once we start studying them, that we will start putting them in numbers. And while we are putting them in numbers, we will be able to assess our situation and choose the right decisions when it comes to our money. So the purpose always is to create more money, make good financial decisions, and also not go into bad financial decisions. And we will talk about this. So mainly financial education is our personal finances read in numbers. And okay, so and once we start learning, we will have the skills. So it's education. It's like you are learning a new language. If you have the skills, no one will take this from you. If you understand how you need to manage your money, for example, now I have an income from my maybe self-employment, or I'm an employee, or I have a small business. Okay, so I have this income. What should I do with the money? How much I am spending? Do I have debts? Do I have debts more than savings? So am I doing the right investment for myself? Am I teaching my family or my kids, if I am a mother, about financial education? This is all comes here. And this is why the main target is to educate people to start questioning themselves and start like searching for ways to make additional income. So you will learn about savings, budgeting, investment, debt management. If you are in debt, we will see that we have good debt and bad debt, and we will talk about this. So it's an overall, it's your financial planning. So we will be planning for your financial health. It's like you are going into a gym working out, getting better in shape, getting better in health. It's the same situation. Okay, and the purpose is to create more money and to avoid any financial mistakes. And we will see this because women, they fall into bad decisions when it comes to their money. And the purpose is especially for women, because you know that you are better in man when it comes to managing, but not all women know that, because like mainly like people see that men go to work, women maybe have different responsibilities, but it doesn't mean that you cannot help also your husband with your finances. And this is very important. So we want to help women to make informed and effective decisions about their money. If now you have an income, what would you do with your income? You will save it only? It's not enough. You know that saving alone is not very good also, because let me tell you something, with time the prices are increasing. You see now we have inflation. You are buying the same, maybe a bottle of water, or the same uh, products, maybe the same phone, mobile phone, but the price is increasing because there is inflation. This bottle of water or whatever the object that you are buying, it is giving you the same value but with higher price. So when you put money in saving only, the value of money will decrease, will be depreciated. That's why saving alone is not very good. And that's why we need financial education to understand how much do I have to save? What should I do with the money? Money management. I need to budget, for example. I need to save. We will see also different types of savings, and spend wisely. We will see different types of expenses also, because we know that a lot of people, especially employees or we as women, we like to go for shopping, we like to buy things. But do I really need all of this? Do I have a good management for my money? And this is very important. Also, when it comes to investment, it is very important to know which type of investment I am going in. Maybe now it's a good time for buying or for buying gold, for example, or I have to understand when I have to buy Bitcoin, or maybe I need to go into investment when it comes to oil prices, because now the price of oil is also going down. I will go more into deep into investment in a different webinar, but I want to emphasize on the importance of knowing this, because you can make more money if you know how to invest and create an additional income. One income, one stream of income is not enough anymore. We are in a situation, we are in 2025, and there's no way that people should not create more than one stream of income. We will talk about this in deep, step by step. What is the good debt and the bad debt? Do you know that you have something called the good debt also? To be honest, for me, I am against debts, okay, in general, because you are taking money that you don't have because you want to buy something that you cannot afford, and this is wrong. In financial education, you will learn how to make an additional income, because if you need more money to buy one, two, three, you will be able to do that instead of borrowing money, other people's money, and they take interest on your money. But a good debt is where you are, maybe you want to buy a course that will help you with your business. Maybe you are learning about something that will increase your leadership or your team management, or anything that will increase your knowledge and skills when it comes to creating more money. And this is a good debt. If you cannot afford, for example, something that will give value for your business or for yourself and personal growth also, this is a good debt. So that's the difference between a good debt and a bad debt. But if you are taking money to buy liabilities, expenses, this is a bad debt. Don't do it. Okay? And we have like the program where it helps you get out of that. It's a long process, but I wanted to mention this because this is very important. And you can get out of that maybe in 1 year, 2 years, and you will see a little bit today. Also, we need to have the mindset, the financial mindset, because not everyone will understand risk, wealth building strategies, and long-term financial growth. You need people around you to push you forward for this. You need to have the right mindset and read books, get to know more about financial education, be surrounded by women who speak this language, communities, so this is very important. Also, people talk about risk like it's something bad. I will tell you something. Of course, if you are risking to lose your money, all your money, it's bad. But if it's calculated risk, what would you do? Would you go for an investment if you know that you will not lose more than $100, for example? Of course you will, because it will also, and if it's paying you more, triple. So here you start understanding the language of investment and trading and wealth building, because wealthy people are not people who only have money. There are people who have assets and business and investments, and we will talk about this also. So do you want only to rely on one stream of income your whole life, or you want to start changing your situation? Maybe you will have kids in the future. You will not be able to cover their expenses. Also, teaching your kids to start being independent, financially independent. This is very important. Creating a passive income. And we will talk about this. This is the best part, because passive income is something that will not ask, like, or maybe it will ask a little bit of your time in the beginning, but will not take from your time to create money. Because now, if you are an employee or a self-employed, or you are building, you are an entrepreneur, you are building your business, but you don't have time for something else, but you need to create more money. So you will go to financial assets or small business or anything investment that will create you an additional income that will not take a lot from your time, or barely it will take time from you to be able to create it and generated it, because we all need additional incomes. Okay, and this is very important, because becoming a wealthy woman is very important. It will help you to be more independent, uh, uh, to be more powerful, confident. So this is very important, and we will talk about this. A woman who understand her finances, nothing, like nothing can beat her. Nothing can be stronger than her. She can build, and she can be independent, and she can be very strong. For some women, money is security, because they need to feel secure. And we will talk also about this more and more. So in the beginning, let's start by creating a financial plan, a solid financial plan. It's like you are creating any plan for yourself. Maybe your target or your goal is to create more money for this year, or to lose weight, or to be a better person, to be a better version of yourself, or maybe to read a book, for example, or to read 3 books. What is your goal? It's the same thing. If you want to create a financial plan for yourself, you need to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, a direction to where you are going, you will miss your target. You will miss your goal. So first, we start by creating a goal. It can be a short-term goal from now. Start from now. You have to start from now. And I will ask you a question. Do you have emergency funds? Now I know that you are making money, but do you have emergency funds, for example? You know that it is very important to have emergency funds. You need to have funds that will cover your expenses for at least 6 months, because you never know what will happen. Maybe you have a goal to start putting aside money for emergency. Maybe you need to close a credit card. You have a debt or a personal loan from the bank, and you need to finish from this debt. So you need to have a plan for this debt. Maybe you need to travel to Bali or to any country for the summer with your friends or your partner, maybe. So you need to start saving money for this. You need to have a financial plan for this is your goal, and you have to start like putting money aside for this goal to achieve it. A midterm goal. Maybe you want to buy a house. Maybe now you are not satisfied with where you want. You need to buy a new car. You need to start a business. That is something that you always wanted to do. You are not happy with your situation now. You have to create a business. So start now. It's a midterm goal where you from now you can start putting aside 10% of your income, maybe 20%, as much as you can afford, because it's very important to start today. Or maybe you want to increase your savings, long-term goals where you start to think about your retirement. Do you think about generational wealth, for example? Maybe you want your kids in the future and the kids of your kids in the future. You want to create a generational wealth. You hear about those families that they are rich and their children are rich, and like it's the whole generation. They are all wealthy people. Why? Why not you? Why not you starting this now? Maybe you need financial freedom. You are not happy with your work or your financial situation. You know how many women are in toxic relationships because they cannot be financially independent? This is very important. You can start, if you have a small income, you can start putting money aside if you manage your money the right way. And that's why today we will be talking about this. Very important. The second step is to start assessing your situation. You have to be honest with yourself and understand what is your net worth. Your net worth is your financial health. Okay, it's something. It means that you have to calculate what you own and what you owe. The assets are things that you have. Okay, your ownership, for example, savings, money, maybe investment account, trading account, business, real estate. Maybe you have an apartment that you are renting. It should be an apartment that is generating money for you, not the house that you live in. Okay, maybe you have a car that you are using as a taxi, like this is how you are making money. Minus liabilities. Liabilities are your debts, your personal loan, any type of debt. Okay, credit card, not business loan, and we will talk about this because it's a good debt. The business loan is a good debt because you are taking this debt to create a business and that will generate you money. Okay, maybe housing loan, a student loan, any type of loan that is bad. So this is something that you owe for someone. And if you have a positive net worth, you are good. If you have a negative net worth, this is bad for your financial situation. You have to start tracking your income and expenses to see where the money is going. We will see that also in details. And you have to evaluate your debt and savings. You have to evaluate this. If you have debts more than savings, you are in bad situation. Maybe you have a $10,000 savings, but you have a debt that is worth $100,000 from housing loan to credit card. This is bad. You have to increase your savings and create additional income. You cannot be where the debt is more. Maybe your income will stop one day. You need to have multiple streams of income. And third, you need to create a budget and manage your expenses. Also, this is very, very, very important. This is something that I do. And every year I am able to budget for shopping. I budget for shopping because I have sometimes events that will cost me money to buy expensive clothes and branded clothes. So I have to budget. Maybe now I don't have the time and money. It's not like I don't have the money, but I have to put this money aside because I know in this year I have one, two, three events and I have to look very luxurious with what I'm wearing. Maybe you budget for a trip. Maybe you know that you have a wedding outside your home country. You have to start budgeting for this. Maybe you need to buy a car, so you have to start budgeting. You have to start putting money, 10% every month from your income. And this is very important. You have to pay yourself first. When you get your income, first thing you do, you take this money, 10% from it, and you put it in a safe box. or an envelope or a place in your home. It should be liquid, by the way. You have to keep it in liquid, especially emergency funds. Okay, so 50% from your income should go for the expenses, the needs. We will talk about this. These are the needs when it comes from your expenses. 30% for the wants from your expenses. We will explain this. And 20% for savings and investment. You have to start saving money. As I was saying, you pay yourself first, you put money aside, you hide it because you have to get used to spending money without this amount. Okay, and everything will be fine. I promise you. Just start putting money aside and remember me. And you need also to put this money aside for investment. Maybe you will find an investment plan that works great for you, that will create you more money, but you cannot afford it. What you will do? You will stay poor for the rest of your life, or you start investing. So before investing, you have to start putting money aside to be able to afford the investment, or to open an account to be able to create more money for you from investment or trading, or buying gold or anything that will create you money, okay, or Bitcoin or anything, okay, and cut the unnecessary expenses, and you need to increase your savings, as I was mentioning before. So if you remember the expenses, we will go in deep into them. Your income, you as a lady, as an entrepreneur, as a woman entrepreneur, from where this income is coming, from your business, or maybe if you are a lady who is an employee, or maybe you have a business, as I mentioned, maybe you are in real estate, you have an apartment or a land, you are creating it for for Airbnb, or you have to create this money. You have to find a way to create money. Having an apartment like this is not enough. You have to use everything that can create money for you. So your money comes from rental. Maybe you are self-employed. Maybe you are married and you are taking money from your husband, or from one of the family members in your family, or maybe from a bank account. So mainly this is your income. This is where your money is coming from. The expenses are where money are spent. Okay, and two types of expenses. If you remember here, we said 50% needs, 30% wants. So here, your needs, what are your needs from your expenses? Are primary needs. They are essential that you cannot survive without. If you are paying for your rental, this is something that is very important. You cannot avoid paying your house rental, okay, or like any rental, maybe your business, if you have a business, electricity, internet, groceries, food. You cannot skip food, insurance, also transportation. If you have children, childcare, also expenses for your children. These are your needs. Your wants are additional, are things that you can live without. You can live without going to the movies during the weekend. You can live without traveling. You can live without paying a lot in restaurants. Instead of going to restaurants every weekend, you can go maybe, or you can bring groceries and prepare food at home. We have to cut the expenses. It's like you are doing a diet. Now it's not time for luxury items. You will, everything will be fine if you are not spending money on makeup, or doing your nails every time, or I don't know, entertainment subscription. Maybe you can stop those subscription for a short period until you increase your salary, your savings, and you add another stream of income. You cut the expenses here, you will have more money. Then you will see what will happen. If you are budgeting for everything, you will start spending wisely. This is the plan. This is how you become smart with money. Even if you are not, some people, they are not comfortable with their income. But when we work on their expenses, they feel like, okay, I can survive with my income. But the plan is not only to rely on one income, as I mentioned, but to create also additional incomes. Okay, so as I mentioned, you need to have an emergency fund, money in your savings, in your like save box, safe box in the house, not in the bank, not as crypto. Maybe Corona will happen again. You cannot go to the bank and withdraw your money. In Lebanon, there was an economic crisis. People lost their money in the banks. They were not my parents. They become poor because of this. They have a lot of money in the bank, but they couldn't withdraw their money from the banks. You need to have money in your safe as liquid because maybe something you will lose your job or maybe you will not make sales this month. So you have to have money that will cover at least 6 months from your expenses. If now you are not working, there is something that happened, you lost your job or your business, okay, or maybe something emergent happen, like emergency situation. How will you spend? How? So you have to start saving money emergency aside. Okay, and learn second, you have to learn to create more money and create a cash flow, create more money. So these two comes together, cutting the expenses, creating this, increasing the savings, and creating money. Three things, remember them. Okay, so going into stocks, the stock market and the forex market, buying gold, or even like trading on the price of gold also if you cannot afford buying gold or silver, for example. So this is very important. And also another way to create an income is through real estate, as I mentioned. Go into real estate, but of course you have to study the project before. It's very important also to have the mindset. Everything starts with the right mindset. If you are not educating yourself, if you are not reading books about uh, the importance of financial education, for example, I don't know if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is one of the most important books that you have to start reading. And we will see also these all, by the way, all this presentation is based on Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. We are students of Robert Kiyosaki. You have to surround yourself with financially successful people, people who spend their money on expenses and partying, going out, will not help you to create more money. Okay, and keep learning and educating yourself about money management. You have to always keep updating your knowledge, learning things from other people to like have a better financial situation. And Robert Kiyosaki, this is one of the most important quotes for me, for Robert Kiyosaki: invest in your financial education, but you have to invest your time before you invest your money. So you invest your time reading, learning, working on yourself to be this. To me, this is a smart thing to do for Robert Kiyosaki. So it's very important to start learning. In the beginning, you invest in yourself, in your education, in your knowledge, and then you invest in your money. From Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book, we have the cash flow quadrant. I don't know if you saw this quadrant before. If you know this quadrant is cash flow quadrant called. This cash flow quadrant will show you 4 ways to make money. There's no other way to make money. Either being an employee, self-employed, or a coach. Here we will talk about this, business owner or an investor. These 4 ways you will create money from. You see here we have employee and self-employed on one side and business owner and investor on the other side. What's the difference? And I want to ask you, where are you here now? Are you an employee, self-employed, you are a business owner, or you are an investor? You are a business owner and you are working alone in your business. This is more of a self-employed because you don't have an employer that is telling you what to do. But I will tell you the difference. An employee in the beginning is a person who is exchanging his time for money. He is working for money. If he doesn't go to his job in the morning for the whole month, 5 times per week, he will not get paid. Okay, so he works for 8 to 9 hours, let's say, per day to make money. The self-employed is a person who doesn't have a boss, but he is also exchanging his time for money. If you see here, this is the time and this is the money. So here you are exchanging your time for money. Okay? And if you, even if you are a doctor, or if you are a coach, or if you like, if you are creating something for people online to make money, if you don't spend your time to do that, you will not make money. Okay? Also comes doctor, uh, lawyer, so all of this category of people. The self, the business owner is a person who has a system. If you see here, we have people in parallel to money. So he has employees in his system. He will employ the employees and self-employed to work for him. So the business owner is someone, instead of working, let's say, 80 hours, he will have 10 employees working 8 hours each one. And he will have the income of the 80 hours of those employees. Of course, he has expenses because he's paying them salaries, but the income also is bigger. Okay, so this is a business owner. And the investor is a person who has money. You see here, you have money and money. So your money here is working for you to create money, because here you own an investment. So when you are an investor or a trader, your money will create you baby money and create you money more and more in the future. That's why in this category, this side, the wealth here is 90% of the wealth of the population, where 5% of people are here. Comparing to employees, you have one business owner. Comparing to a lot of people, there is a small percentage of people who are investors and they are living from their investments. But self-employed and employees, there are tons of people. There are 95% of the population, and only 5% from the wealth in the world is in their hands. That's why there will always be people who are making more money than others, because they are in this category. And today I want you to go home and start asking yourself, do I have to live my whole life like this, or do I have to start changing? Can I start a business that will create me more money? And yes, you can. You don't need a lot of like a capital to do that. There is lots of ways. We will talk about this in the future in our second webinar that we will have. So this is why it's very important to understand this cash flow quadrant and start asking yourself, where are you now? Okay, so also, from Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book, you will see something called balance sheet and income statement. We hear them in companies. If you studied finance or if you studied business in university, you will see that you have a balance sheet and income statement for the company. But let me tell you something. You are also a small company. You are a person who is making income and putting money on expenses. So you also have a balance sheet and income statement. I mentioned the net worth, where we say assets and liabilities. If you have a positive net worth, it means that your assets are more than liabilities. Your assets are something that you own. This is something for you that is generating you money. And liabilities are loans and debts that are creating you expenses, because there are money that is not for you, because you need to buy things that you cannot afford. Okay, so you are a mini company. Start creating your balance sheet and income statement now, and you will see how. So assets and liabilities, this is the balance sheet. Inside the assets, you have the savings, business, maybe an online business, maybe an affiliate business, any business, it can create you money. E-commerce, so this is a business. Okay, real estate, paper assets, as I mentioned. Paper assets, I mean financial markets, forex, stocks, options, all like the paper assets that create you money from the investor side, from the cash flow quadrant. And the liabilities are loans, except for business loan, because you are taking this loan to create a business that will generate you income, like car loan, housing loan, educational loan, student loan, whatever, all the credit cards. So these loans, they will generate what? Expenses. If you see here, this will create expenses, but the assets will create income. So here you will see the balance sheet and income statement that are related to each others. You will learn this also from his book, because if you don't have assets, you are in big trouble, because you are only relying on your income, and the value of the money will decrease, the expenses will increase in the future from inflation. That's why you need to start having the assets that will create you the income, and we have to cut this to stop the expenses. Okay, this is very important. So in brief, this is why financial education is important for women, because now we are here today to teach you this. This webinar is helping you to understand your personal finances. So your income, your expenses, your savings, your business, your investment. This is financial education. How we need to grow money, increase money, put savings, as I mentioned, everything today. Why? Because it is a tool that help women become financially independent. Because we need you to be independent. Your income, your salary will not make you only independent. Okay, creating a passive income will make you independent in the future. Having financial assets will create money for you. And this is how you become independent. Because, like, for me, time freedom is independence for me. That's why I can never be an employee anymore. I will do everything and never like rely on a salary. Understanding financial education can help women make better decisions about their finances and make more money, as I mentioned, because now you will learn how to invest. Even if you are taking a risk, it's a calculated risk. You will not lose your whole money. It's calculated. You know how much you are losing in this small investment. It's okay. Don't be afraid. Think of long-term money, long-term income, making generational wealth for the future. So it creates stability and security for women. As I mentioned, there is a lot of women who are not happy with their jobs, not happy with their financial situation, because they don't know how to change it. They don't know how to change it. They are in bad relationships, toxic relationships, bad marriages, because they cannot rely on themselves. But if they learn how to make a passive income, they can, because it's not also asking a lot of from their time. It empowers women to become more confident, wealthy, successful, and strong. Because this is my mission. I want to help women to become successful and strong. I love seeing successful women. And women who are financially independent have the freedom of choice. You are free to choose your life, choose where you want to travel, what do you want to do for this month, how much you want to spend money. This is a freedom. You are choosing your own life, and not someone else is choosing your life. You can also be able to help your families and your loved ones. So maybe you want to have a trip for your kids, your husband, maybe you want to, or your partner, maybe you want to buy an expensive gift. If you are making money, you can do that. This is very, very important. That's why financial education is very important. And if you want to follow me on Instagram to get to know more about financial education, please feel free to do that. If you need to ask me anything, wait. Also, I am part of a community. It is called Alpha Universe, Pride EcoLearn and Alpha Universe, where we help people learn about financial and investment education. Please feel free also to follow our YouTube channels to learn more about our financial education. And this is it. If anyone has any question, please feel free to do that. I am happy to answer your questions. And also, I want to thank you again, Florencia, for having me with you, with your community. Thank you. I want to see if anyone has a question, even in Spanish. Maybe soon I will be speaking Spanish.
For the next one. Si quieren preguntar en español, lo puedo traducir. Um, But wow, Lama, thank you so much for sharing with us your wisdom and your energy with us today. I'm sure that many of us we are living with a whole new perspective of money and the motivation to take action right now.
Yeah.
So let's keep
Thank,
building, learning, and growing together. Lama have Ceci have
thank,
you're an
thank you
inspiration
so
for
much.
us.
Thank you so much. And it was an inspiration for me in the beginning. I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't know anything. It's from my bad personal experience with money because my parents lost their money in the bank. During this period, I was not working. I quit my job because I wanted to search for myself, understand what I truly want, and then choose a business, maybe anything else. And the economic crisis happened. So I had to live in a very bad situation where I had to cut all my expenses and live with a minimum amount of money. And here I started asking myself, like, what went wrong? We should not rely on anyone anymore. How we need to create more money. And when you start asking yourself, the universe start giving you, so you will start finding solutions for what you are asking for, and the answers will come because you are not alone in this world. And and you have to be open also. You have to be open with your mindset. That's why everything starts with the right mindset. If you have a poor mindset where you have a bad relationship with money, if you feel that money is evil, money is only for rich people who are bad, this is wrong. You have to start creating a good relationship with money and start saying to yourself that you deserve to be wealthy. You deserve to help yourself. Even if you have money, you can give for charity if you don't feel like you need all those, but you have to start from a place, and starting from being positive to learning to growing, working on myself, and this happens step by step. The growth will not happen overnight. You have to give yourself time, and then you have to give it for other people. You can never like uh, keep something only for yourself. If you don't give it for other people, it's not a gift. It's not a gift anymore. Investment, what kind of investment would you say is the best to choose when you are starting? It depends on your capital, your knowledge. If you want to, like, it's a long process. I cannot give like everything, all the information now. With Florencia, we will have another webinar and we will talk deep into investment and trading and why it's important. I want to say thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have this webinar, and I'm very happy to give this for Latin community. Florencia knows how much I love Latin people, and thank you, Florencia. This is it for
Thank you,
me.
Lama.
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy that you stay here, and I see you in the
Exactly.
next month and to the
Yes,
next webinar about investment girls. So thank you so much, Lama. And thank you,
definitely.
everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure for me. Thank you. Bye.